Brandon it.
Good question. Let's see what to call this show. Uh,
I already did it.
what you do? What you put on there?
Just urban economic empowerment, paper trading education.
Retirement plans.
Okay. Retirement plans. It is. Hey, peace, power, and profit, everybody. Welcome to Urban Economic Empowerment Show. Let's get started. Let's go. So, hope you guys having a good day, and I hope that you made some money today. Did you make money today?
On a Sunday?
Yeah.
Yeah, I collected my tithes from church.
We're not talking about that
Oh,
because we don't have to do that. That's not our lane.
right. Let's see. I can actually look and see if I made any money today. Even though today is Sunday. Uh,
We probably made a little something.
uh, yeah. Oh, you know what? I haven't checked in a while. My Treasury Direct.
With Treasury Direct?
Yeah. My the whatchamacall. What bonds was those? What was those?
Oh, I series bonds?
Yeah, Series I bonds. Yeah. Yeah, Series I bonds. Yeah, I forgot about that. Oh boy. Let's see. Yeah, we forgot about that. All right. Let's see. I ain't been in here in this account in a while. Precious metals account is up 17%. That's pretty good. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Still trucking a little bit.
What's trucking?
Uh, my precious metals and the Series I bond. That 6.89% interest still hidden.
Oh, you bought that last year, right?
2023 or 2022.
The beginning, the second quarter of 23. 22.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Let me see something real quick. Is it still 6 point? Yeah.
No.
Oh no.
So is that 4?
Huh?
What is that, 4?
Yeah. 4.35%. I forgot.
You didn't sell it?
Nope. Nope. I bought it at 6.9, but the rate changed every 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
So I mean 4.3%, that ain't too bad. It's lower than treasury yield though, man. I might get out of this and just buy a 10 year or 2 year treasury.
They like what, 5?
The 2 year, wait, let me see right now. Let me see. Let's go to 2. Okay. 2 years 4.99, 10 years 4.65, 30 years 4.77. So I mean, it ain't too off of that. And then let's see what Apple paying right now. I know M1 is 5% high yield savings account. You got that right?
Yeah, I got that.
I think Apple should be like four something. Yeah. See, how I say it, yeah. M1
What's
is
it? It's
5%.
talking about dividend?
What?
What are you looking for?
I'm talking about yield.
Oh, okay. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So what we got? Let me see. What's my Apple savings? You see, real quick before we yeah, oh, Apple is 4.4%. Oh yeah, man, I'm about to sell these bonds. Come on.
How much?
4.4%,
And how much is the bond?
4.35.
Mm.
Yeah, I'm finna sell both of these, man. 4.35, not bad, but like I said, I think it's time to put these in either just put them in a high yield savings account or move it to some silver and gold. Then again, the date actually about the yield probably about to go up, honestly, because the next date is supposed to change is Tuesday on the 30th.
Mm.
So it changed every 6 months. And since inflation went up, that means that rate is gonna go up. Okay.
That bond rate?
Yeah. So actually let me see by going to the home page. Let's see. Yeah, see the savings bond is 5.27% right now.
Mm.
For our bonds issued November 1st, 2023, that was 5.27% to April 30th, 2024. But why? I wonder why. Hold on, man. I gotta read this again. Uh, okay. You can cash in and redeem your bond after 12 months. However, if you cash in a bond in less than 5 years, you lose the last 3 months of interest. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so the yield probably about to go up. But man, I'm trying to figure out how the hell if if it changed every 6 months, why the hell is my shit at 4.3%? For 4.35%.
That's what it's at right now.
No, the rate is 5.27% since November. So I'm wondering why didn't it change? Anyway, don't worry about that
Yeah.
later.
Oh, yeah, it's 5.27. Yeah, yours not 5.27?
Uh-uh.
It's 5.27 until the 30th.
Yeah,
It was 4.89.
yeah. What does yours say?
So this actually went up.
Yeah.
Because it was, let me see. Let me go back to mine. Oh shit, I got log back in. Hold on. Mine says, where you see the percentage? Because I'm looking at it.
Okay. When you go in there, click on savings bond, and then you're gonna select after that, it's gonna take you to another screen, and you're gonna go down to the bottom where it says savings bonds and hit click on the box, the circle box, and hit submit, and it'll take you there.
Yeah, I'm on savings bonds. I see how it earned, but I don't see the percentage. Hold on. Let me click on it. Oh, yep, 4.35.
Yeah, that's
If
crazy.
if that's what it was when we bought it, so we locked into the 4 point. We locked into it,
Now, when I bought mine, it was 6.89%.
and then it just dropped you.
Yeah, so I guess it
Did you
changes. It
did you
changes with the rate. The rate changes.
did you buy? Well, this one didn't change
Which one?
because it's 5.27 right now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't know what's up with that.
Hmm.
Yeah, see, I
Mhm.
bought mine in March last year. Then I bought some more in April, right before it
Oh,
changed.
that's what happened. It didn't kick. It didn't kick in. It probably.
No,
I know
because it used to say 6.89%. It used to say that.
when you bought the new ones at the new rate, it probably changed.
Oh, hold on. Let's see. Redeem. Redeem full amount. Uh,
Let's see.
oh, I can redeem it. Yep, I can redeem mine too without penalty. Well,
Hmm.
it ain't gonna be no penalty. I just ain't gonna get the last 3 months of interest. So, and you gotta hold it for at
I,
least 5 years to get it.
right.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go ahead and redeem mine and put it into something else that's higher yielding. But then again, I might wait until May, May 1st to see what it do because it's gonna change on Tuesday. That's gonna be the last day to lock in that 5.27%, and then the rate should change. So I'm gonna wait and see.
Yeah.
And go from there. But dang, that's cool, man. Ain't nothing wrong with that. That's interest. That's money earning interest. I ain't even doing nothing. So hear that, y'all? Anybody that's watching, bonds in real time. You can't name nobody in your circle that got bonds.
I got some bonds.
Yep. We got bonds over here. We earning interest over here in this camp. All right, man. I'm a little conflicted. Let's see. Yeah, we can go retirement accounts and go through that. And we can get to some options too later.
You want to share your screen? What you do?
Huh?
So you do, what you talking? Just talking it through, or what you doing?
Yeah, I'm just gonna talk it through.
Gotcha.
Just let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready now.
All right. So, all right. Let's go into it. So, for those who don't know, retirement plans is basically an incentive for investors to save for their golden years. When you retire one day, you'll need enough money to live on for the rest of your life. While Social Security, Medicare, and other government provided benefits help, many need additional resources to pay to enjoy a comfortable retirement. Hold on. Okay. That out. That. All right, let's log in. Let's log in. All right. Damn, this on my screen, man. All right. So the generalities of retirement, a retirement plan is the following concepts: contributions, eligible investments, distributions, and penalties. Contributions represents funds placed into an account to save for retirement. They must always be made in cash, regardless of the type of account. Investors may not contribute securities or other assets when they put money into their retirement accounts. Depending on the type of retirement account, contributions may be deductible or non-deductible. After tax, deductible contributions provide immediate tax benefits, resulting in lower tax liabilities. For example, let's assume an investor makes $100,000 from their job during the year. If a $5,000 deductible contribution is made, they only pay income taxes on $95,000. So $100,000 earned minus the $5,000 deductible contribution. This is one way our government provides an incentive to save for retirement. Almost all qualified retirement plans we'll discuss maintain this tax structure. Non-deductible contributions are made with after-tax funds and have no immediate tax benefits. So to be clear, there is a deductible contribution and non-deductible contribution. So deductible contributions provide immediate tax benefits, resulting in lower overall tax liabilities, and non-deductible contributions are made with after-tax funds and have no immediate tax benefits. Using the same example above, let's assume the investor makes a $5,000 non-deductible contribution This time they will pay income taxes on $100,000 of earnings and receive no tax benefits for the contribution. After making a contribution, retirement plan assets may be invested according to the account owner's specifications. In non-retirement accounts, taxes are due when investors receive income or realize a capital gain on their investments. However, retirement plans are tax-deferred vehicles, which avoid taxation until money is distributed, withdrawn. This tax structure applies to virtually all retirement plans except for Roth IRAs or 401ks, which we are going to discuss later. Eligible investments. Most securities are eligible for investment in retirement plans, but some are prohibited. Generally speaking, strategies involving unlimited risk are restricted. Therefore, investors must avoid short sales, margin, and some option strategy. Additionally, investors cannot invest in collectibles or art. In particular, an investor cannot sell uncovered or naked options due to the significant risk involved. While not explicitly prohibited, investors should avoid municipal bonds and retirement plans. If you recall, municipal bonds have low yields due to their tax benefits. Retirement plans already provide those same tax benefits, no taxes on received interest. Why would an investor purchase a low-yielding municipal bond when their account already gives them tax benefits? Instead, investors should consider U.S. government bonds if they seek a safe income-producing bond. Generally speaking, investors can invest in the following: stocks, common and preferred, bonds, mutual funds, UITs, unit investment trust, and U.S. government issued coins. Distributions or withdrawals represent funds from a retirement plan. While these accounts are structured to disperse funds in retirement, an investor can typically withdraw funds at any time. However, steep penalties can apply if a distribution is not taken promptly, discussed below. Most retirement plan distributions are taxable as ordinary income. Like paying tax on earnings from a job, ordinary income is taxed at the investor's marginal tax bracket. Penalties. Retirement plans are subject to many rules and regulations. If managed improperly, account owners could be subject to significant IRS penalties. In this section, we'll discuss various rules to follow and the penalties assessed when they're broken. Nearly every retirement plan we'll discuss is subject to a contribution limit. The IRS only allows a certain amount of money to be placed into the account. For example, the 2024 contribution limit for individual retirement accounts, IRAs, is $7,000. If an investor were to transfer $10,000 into their IRA, they will be subject to excess contribution penalties. A 6% annual penalty is assessed on the amount above the contribution limit until the customer withdraws the excess. So that means don't put more than $7,000 into your IRA, or you're going to be taxed at 6% penalty. Now, why would you want to do that to yourself? All right. The IRS defines retirement age as 59 and a half or older. If an investor were to withdraw retirement plan money before this age, they will be subject to a 10% early withdrawal penalty in addition to applicable taxes. For example, assume an investor pulls $10,000 from their retirement plan at age 40. They are subject to a 10% penalty, which is $1,000 plus ordinary income taxes on their distribution. A sizable chunk of the customer's money will go to the IRS through taxes and penalties. If the investor was subject to the 37% federal tax bracket and a 5% state income tax, roughly 52% of the distribution is subject to taxation 37% Fed tax plus 5% state tax plus 10% penalty. This is why financial advisors strongly recommend against early retirement distributions. There are exceptions to the 10% early withdrawal penalty. When any of the following situations apply, distributions can be taken without penalty. Regardless, ordinary income taxes are still due on every withdrawal. Early withdrawal exceptions include disability, death, first-time home purchases, educational expenses, certain medical expenses. Okay. The death exception applies to those inheriting retirement assets. For example, a 25-year-old inheriting an older family member's IRA can immediately distribute funds while avoiding the 10% early withdrawal penalty. Many retirement plans are subject to requirement minimum distributions, RMDs, when the account owner turns 73. Unfortunately, the IRS does not allow investors to keep their money tax sheltered forever. They want their taxes eventually. Forcing investors to take money from their retirement plans results in additional tax obligations. The IRS requires investors age 73 or older to perform an annual calculation involving their account balance and life expectancy. While the specifics aren't important, let's assume a 75-year-old with a life expectancy factor of 24.6 years has a year's end account balance of $100,000 on December 31st, 2023. The investor divides the year-end account balance, which was $100,000, by their life expectancy, which is 24.6, to determine their 2024 RMD. I guess we can do the math. What's $100,000 divided by 24.6? Let's see. That would be $4,065. So that would be that person's RMD, or required minimum distribution. Okay. The IRS requires most investors to utilize their uniform life expectancy table to determine life expectancy. The older an investor, the lower their life expectancy, which results in a larger distribution. Most of the time, RMDs must be fully distributed by the end of the year, by December 31st. However, investors taking their first RMD have a bit more time. They may postpone their first RMD until April 1st of the year after they turn 73. This rule gives the investor an extra 3 months, all of January, February, and March, to withdraw the necessary funds. If an RMD is skipped or missed, one of two penalties apply. A general 25% penalty may apply, although the IRS reduces it to 10% if the investor takes the RMD within 2 years. For example, assume an 80-year-old investor calculates a $20,000 RMD in 2023, forgets about it, and fails to take it by the end of the year. If they were to take the distribution by December 31st, 2025, the penalty would be 10%. Okay. Any questions?
No.
All right. Let's move on. Okay, rules. All right. Workplace retirement plans can either be qualified or non-qualified. To be considered qualified, a plan must be governed by the Employee Retirement Income Security Act, or ERISA. A retirement plan law discussed below In particular, ERISA generally governs qualified plans of non-governmental private organizations. Qualified plans are eligible for substantial tax benefits for both the employer and employee. Okay, you got that, Mo?
Yep.
Okay, most qualified retirement plans offer pre-tax contribution ability. Typically, every dollar a person makes at work is taxable. The more one makes, the more taxes due. However, taxation is reduced with pre-tax contributions. Assume you make $100,000 at your job, which is subject to income taxes. If you were to contribute $5,000 to your company's qualified retirement plan, you'd only be taxed on $95,000 of income for the year. Additionally, most qualified retirement plans allow payroll deductions of work earnings to be directly deposited into a retirement account without being taxed. The more money placed in a qualified retirement plan, the less taxable income to report. However, retirement plan assets are taxable when distributed later in retirement. Not all qualified plans offer pre-tax contributions. Roth 401ks are a good example. We will learn more about these accounts later. Qualified plans are in high demand due to their tax benefits. Organizations offer access to these plans to stay competitive when attracting potential employees. Certain specifications and requirements must be followed to provide qualified plans to employees. In particular, compliance with the ERISA is required. This legislation protects employee retirement assets from employer misconduct or mismanagement. Qualified plans must meet ERISA standards to be offered, which include the following: minimum participation slash non-discrimination. Must offer the plan to all full-time employees. Cannot offer the plan to executives only. This would be discrimination. To be considered full-time, an employee must be age 21 or older, working 1,000 hours plus annually. Reporting and disclosure, details of retirement plan available in writing. Employees provided annual updates. Funding, defined benefit plans discussed below must be funded appropriately. Vesting, employees must earn employer provided benefits in a reasonable amount of time, 5 years or less. For example, employer match contributions, employee contributions are always 100% vested. Some employers match employee contributions as a workplace benefit. For example, a company offers to match 100% of employee contributions up to 5% of their salary. If an employee saves 5% of their salary, the employer matches the contribution, allowing the employee to effectively save 10% of their salary. Employers usually apply vesting periods of 5 years or less, which means an employee quitting their position within the vesting period loses part or all of their employer match. Every qualified plan is governed by a plan document that must be created before it is offered to employees. This document identifies the rules of the plan, including who can contribute to the plan, employer provided benefits, e.g., matching contributions, vesting schedules, investment options, beneficiary designation rules, distribution guidelines. All right. A fiduciary administers the qualified plan according to the rules in the plan document. The IRS defines a fiduciary as a person who owes a duty of rules.
But
Okay. A fiduciary administers the qualified plan according to the rules in the plan document. The IRS defines a fiduciary as a person who owes a duty of care and trust to another and must act primarily for the benefit of the other in a particular activity. The fiduciary's job is to ensure the qualified plan functions as intended according to the plan document. Their ultimate responsibility is representing the plan participants, employees with plan access, and placing their interests above those of the employing organization. Several entities could fill the fiduciary role, including organization employees, usually an executive or board member, or an unaffiliated third parties. After the plan document is created and a fiduciary is appointed, the organization must submit the plan documents in writing to the IRS for approval. Once approved, the qualified plan may be offered to employees. Any questions?
No.
All right. All right. Workplace plans. Qualified defined benefit plans, qualified defined contribution plans, and non-qualified plans. Okay. Qualified defined benefit plans. Defined benefit plans are a type of qualified plan involving varying employer contributions and a specific retirement benefit that is defined. The most common form of a defined benefit plan is a pension. Over the past several decades, pensions have fallen in popularity due to the burden they place on the employer. Organizations offering pensions are typically obligated to pay their retired employees until death. 20 years or more of service is typically required for an employee to gain access to their pension. Qualifying employees usually receive benefits based on their salary during their working years. For example, some organizations offer retirement benefits equal to 70% of the average of their employees' top 3 years of earnings. If an employee top 3 years of earnings average at $100,000, their employer will pay them $70,000 or 70% every year until they die. Additionally, many pensions provide an annual cost of living adjustment for inflation purposes. Due to the structure, defined benefit plans are most beneficial for employees with large salaries. When the employee retires, they begin collecting payments from their former employer. The pension payments must be made regardless of the employer's financial status. Even if the organization has a bad business year, it must still pay retirees. Because of this, many corporations do not offer pensions today. However, government-sponsored organizations like the military and police continue to offer this type of retirement plan. To ensure pension payments can be made, employers must set aside and invest significant amounts of money for future payouts. The amount required depends on the combined salaries and ages of their workforce. The employer sets aside more money when employees have higher salaries and are nearing retirement. Future projections consider the growth of their investments and the life expectancy of their retirees to determine the amount of money the organization will be required to pay. An unfunded pension liability exists when the projection of future payouts is more than the amount set aside. For example, an organization projects $1 million in payouts in 2030, but only expects $800,000 in the pension fund at that time. If the problem isn't fixed, the employer will eventually bankrupt itself. Most organizations maintain insurance backing their pensions to ease the anxiety of their retirees. If bankruptcy occurs, the insurance takes over the required payouts. Defined benefit plan payouts are 100% taxable to the retiree as ordinary income. All right. Qualified defined contribution plans. Defined contribution plans maintain specific or defined contributions and an unknown retirement benefit, meaning participating employees know what they put into these plans, but do not know how much they'll have at retirement. Most plans allow employees to contribute a specific amount, e.g., 7% of salary, and invest their contributions. Additionally, employers can make contributions on behalf of employees, e.g., matching contributions up to 5% of the employee's salary. Depending on their investment success, The retirement benefit can vary. All of the plans discussed in this section maintain the same general tax structure. Pre-tax deductible contributions, tax deferred growth, distributions taxable as ordinary income. All right, first we have 401k plans. I'll let you pull that up, Mo.
Which one?
401k.
Okay.
All
Got it.
right. The 401k, which is named after Section 401k of the Internal Revenue Code, is arguably the most well-known and popular qualified retirement plan. Only available to private, non-government, for-profit companies, 401ks allow employees to save pre-tax money for retirement. Additionally, employers may match their employees' contributions, encouraging faster growth of retirement assets. Current employees generally cannot pull money out of their 401k, but can apply for a hardship withdrawal if facing financial problems. However, standard distribution rules apply. If the employee is under 59 and a half, they are subject to a 10% early withdrawal penalty and additional ordinary income taxes. Once the employee is terminated, quits, is fired, or retires, they gain access to 401k funds, although taxes and some penalties may apply. The 2024 employee contribution limit for 401k plans is $23,000. Side note, solo 401k plans. While 401k plans are typically established by large corporations, solo 401k plans may be established by self-employed individuals with no employees. If the business owner ever hires an employee, they must use another type of retirement plan, e.g., a SEP or simple IRA, discussed below. However, the business owner's spouse does not count towards this rule. If the spouse earns income from the business, the solo 401k may continue to operate. Plus, the spouse can establish their own solo 401k under the business. Uh, Other than the employee restrictions, solo 401k plans maintain the same rules, contribution limits, and tax consequences as traditional 401k plans. All right, 403b plans. Got that, Mo?
Which one?
403b.
403B?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
All right. So a 403b plan is similar to a 401k, but is utilized by nonprofit organizations, public school systems, and religious organizations. Sometimes referred to as a tax shelter annuity, 403b plans offer their employees a few options at retirement. The retiree can take their money from the account, roll it over to another retirement account, or turn it into an annuity that will pay them until death. The 2024 employee contribution limit for 403b plans is $23,000. Okay. Now we're going to go to KEO HR10 plans.
Which one?
KEO HR10 plans.
Oh, got another name for that one? Or you say
HR.
T O?
No, KEO. KEO. KEOGH.
Retirement plan?
Yes, HR10 plan.
What's it called again?
KEO. KAOGH.
Oh, I had KOKOAGH.
No, no, KEOGH.
KEOGH. Uh-huh.
HR10 plan.
HR10. Hmm. Let's see.
Yeah.
Is that the? Oh, this is it. No. Oh, so called. Okay, okay. So it's the simply. It's the.
You got
These are
it.
the ones. These are for, huh?
You got it. HR10.
Yeah, the qualified plans, also called HR10 plans, are killed plans, which cover self-employed individuals.
Okay. So HR10 plan, HR-10 plans, also known as KEO plans, are created for smaller professional practices like a dentist's office or law firm. The employer, e.g., the dentist that owns their practice, has a 2024 contribution limit of $69,000 or 25% of their income, whichever is less. When the employer makes a maximum contribution to their own plan, they must make a matching contribution to their employees' plans, e.g., the dental hygienist in a dental practice, equal to 25% of the employee's income. What that say on your screen?
It says this publication discusses retirement plans you can set up and maintain for yourself and your employees. This publication covers the following types of retirement plans: the simple employment pension plan, the simple, which is saving incentives match plan for employees plan, qualified plans, also called HR10 plans, or K plans with covering self-employed individuals, including 401k plans.
Okay. All right.
All right.
Profit sharing plans. I don't know if you got that on here.
um,
There you go, right there.
yep.
It's under payroll deduction. There you go. All right. Profit sharing plans are exactly what they sound like. Businesses offering these plans provide extra incentives for employees to perform well in their roles, as a specified percentage of profits is pledged to be shared annually with employees. For example, a company commits 10% of its profits to its employees' profit sharing plan. Employees do not contribute to these plans, and employers are not obligated to contribute themselves. Obviously, there will be no profits to share if the business is unprofitable. Even if the company is profitable, the employer can refuse the contributions in any given year. This structure provides flexibility to the employer if they face financial difficulties while incentivizing employees to remain productive. Yeah, that would suck if they just stopped on a dime. All right, money purchase plans. Yeah, you got that one?
Money purchase plan. Okay. Yep.
All right. All right. Money purchase plans are similar to profit sharing plans with two exceptions. First, contributions to money purchase plans are not based on the company's profitability. Second, contributions must be made every year. For example, a company contributes an amount equal to 4% of its employees' salaries annually. Some money purchase plans allow employees to contribute on top of their employer's funds, but those that do typically require employee contributions to be made annually. All right. SEP and simple IRAs.
Which one?
SEP and simple IRAs.
Oh. Mm. Okay. Here's a simple one.
Okay. Okay. Later in this unit, you learn about individual retirement accounts. IRAs are not always employer sponsored, but SEP IRAs and simple IRAs are. Simplified employee pensions, SEP IRAs, and savings incentive match for employees. Simple IRAs are structured specifically for smaller companies. They're similar to KEO plans, but with insignificant differences that you won't need. You shouldn't expect. Hold on. Okay, wait. Okay, all right. That's all for that. Okay, this is a side note. RMD delays for older workers. While RMDs apply to qualified plans, individuals age 73 or older still working can delay RMDs indefinitely only for the qualified plan at their place of employment. For example, let's assume Jasmine is 78 years old and works for a corporation that offers a 401k plan. Although Jasmine is well above the age 73 threshold, she is not subject to RMDs until she retires from her job. Okay. Non qualified plans. Non qualified plans are not governed by the ERISA, meaning they are not required to conform to the rules discussed in this chapter. One of the benefits of not being ERISA governed is the ability to discriminate, allowing employers to pick and choose who they offer them to. While qualified plans must be provided to every full time employee, employers can offer non qualified plans only to their executives, officers, directors, or whoever they wish. All right. Deferred compensation plans. A
For
comp Yeah.
you gotta find that one. Okay.
You got it.
Yep.
Oh. A common type of non-qualified plan is a deferred compensation plan. These plans offer money to employees in the future and are typically only provided to higher up employees of a company with large salaries. If an employee makes $500,000 annually, they could defer $100,000, invest the funds, and distribute the basis amount invested in growth and retirement. The employee only pays taxes on the compensation once they receive it later, reducing their tax burden in the year they defer their salary. All right, 457 plan. All right, a 457 plan is another type of non qualified plan that is only available to government and certain nonprofit organization employees. It is a unique non qualified plan as it allows tax deductible contributions and tax deferred growth. Unlike all other retirement plans, early withdrawal penalties do not apply to 457 plans. The 2024 contribution limit for 457 plans is 23,000. All right. Rollovers.
Oh, let me go by the store get me some stuff to eat.
Hold on, Chris. Keep going.
Okay. Rollovers. When retiring or quitting a job with a qualified plan, many investors roll their retirement plan assets into IRAs. Funds transferred from one retirement account to another, known as a rollover, are not subject to taxation. Investors generally have 60 days from receiving a distribution to roll it over tax free into another plan. Rollovers allow investors to keep their assets tax sheltered and provide additional investment options. Most qualified plans place limitations on the types of investments they allow. IRAs are only prohibited from short sales, margin, and some option strategies with unlimited risk potential. In particular, an investor cannot sell uncovered naked options due to the significant risk involved. All right. We good?
Yep. I'm sharing. Go ahead. I'm catching you as you go.
Okay. All right. Individual retirement accounts, IRAs. IRAs.
I got it.
All right. IRAs allow investors to save for their retirement outside of employer sponsored plans. All right, we'll discuss these two types, traditional IRAs and Roth IRAs. Traditional IRAs are non qualified retirement plans because they're not workplace sponsored, although they function similarly to qualified plans. Like most qualified plans, contributions are deductible against earned income. For example, an investor making $50,000 that contributes $4,000 to a traditional IRA is only taxed on $46,000 of earned income. Distributions are typically fully taxable as ordinary income. Contribution limit. The contribution limit for IRAs in 2024 is the lesser of $7,000 or the amount of earned income during the year. To contribute, investors must have earned income. No contribution can be made if an investor has no reportable earned income. If they make less than the contribution limit, they can only contribute up to that amount. If Jane earns $3,000 from her part-time job throughout the year, she can only contribute a maximum of $3,000 to her IRA. All right, side note, earned income. The IRS defines earned income as wages, salaries, tips, and other taxable employee pay. Employee pay is earned income only if it is taxable. Other than wages, salaries, and tips, other forms of earned income include bonuses, commissions, self-employment income, royalties. Any other type of income is not considered earned and therefore does not make an individual eligible for an IRA contribution.
Hey, can you repeat that income thing?
Yeah, so earned income. The IRS defines earned income as wages, salaries, tips, and other taxable employee pay. Employee pay is earned income only if it is taxable. Other than wages, salaries, and tips, other forms of earned income include bonuses, commissions, self-employment income, and royalties. Any other type of income is not considered earned and therefore does not make an individual eligible for an IRA contribution.
Okay.
All right. Investors may make IRA contributions annually up to the contribution limit. Additionally, investors may contribute towards a specific year's contribution limit until the tax filing deadline the following year, typically April 15th. For example, an investor can contribute towards 2023's contribution limit until April 15, 2024. Contributions made between January 1st, 2024 and April 15th, 2024 must be specifically assigned to 2023 or 2024. Assume an investor makes their first ever IRA contribution on February 1st, 2024. They must determine if the contribution will count towards 2023's $6,500 limit or 2024's $7,000 limit. The IRA contribution limit increased by $500 in 2024. In most circumstances, it's better to contribute to the previous year's limit until it is reached. All right. Spousal IRAs. As discussed above, only individuals with earned income may contribute to IRAs. However, the IRS provides an avenue for working spouses to contribute to a non-working spouse's IRA. For example, assume Jane works and is married to John, who is unemployed. Jane can contribute to John's IRA, although he has no reportable income. This is referred to as a spousal IRA contribution. Did you find it, Mo?
I'm looking for it.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready.
Go ahead, because
You can't find it.
I don't see that one in the IRS site. What doesn't mean it doesn't. Oh, here it is. I found it.
Okay. All right. So next is catch-up provision.
You know what's another one. Okay. Hold up.
Let me read
Catch-up
spousal.
provision. Oh, wait a minute. I know that one's on there. Catch-up provision.
Yeah.
That was listed under something. Catch-up. I think that was under. Keep going. I'm gonna find it.
Okay. Let me see. All right. Catch up revision. Investors age 50 or older are eligible for a catch up provision, which allows an additional contribution of $1,000 per year. It provides an opportunity for investors that missed contributions in their younger years to build their retirement accounts up faster. In 2024, a person aged 50 or older may contribute up to $8,000, $7,000 plus $1,000 catch up. Not the catch up that goes on fries either.
Go ahead.
All right. We have deductibility of contributions. Okay. Traditional IRA contributions are not always deductible. 3 potential situations determine the tax status of a contribution. All right. Investor is not covered by a qualified workplace plan. Contributions are always deductible. Investor is covered by a qualified workplace plan and low income. Contributions are always deductible. Investor is covered by a qualified workplace plan and high income. Contributions are partially deductible or not deductible. Covered by a qualified workplace plan means the investor has access to a qualified retirement plan through their work. For example, an investor working at a corporation that can contribute to a 401k is covered by a qualified plan. As you can see, if an investor does not have access to a qualified workplace plan like a 401k, they can always deduct their contributions. If they have access to a qualified workplace plan, the tax status of their deduction depends on their income level. The higher the income, the less likely the customer can deduct their contributions. All right, let's see. Side note, traditional IRA phase outs. Sometimes it's helpful to be exposed to the actual numbers to build context to understand to consider low and high income. Although there are more than just 2 tax statuses, we'll only discuss the numbers for those filing single and married. Um, filing single and married, filing jointly. Let's see. All right, taxpayers filing status for 2024. If you earn below $77,000 as a single person, you have full deduction. Between 77,000 and 87,000, that is the phase out range. And 87,000 or more, there's no deduction for a traditional IRA. Investors filing single can make a fully tax deductible contribution if making less than $77,000 annually. A phase out begins between $77,000 and $87,000, which means the investor may only deduct part of their contribution. Above $87,000, none of their contributions are tax deductible. All right. Married taxpayers filing jointly in 2024. Investors filing jointly can make a fully tax deductible contribution if making less than $123,000 annually. A phase out begins between $123,000 and $143,000. What happened?
No, that wasn't me.
Oh.
Zion, turn it down.
A phase out begins between $123,000 and $143,000, which means the investor may only deduct part of their contribution. Above $143,000, contributions are not tax deductible. Investors making non-deductible contributions to a traditional IRA are only taxed on the growth when a distribution or withdrawal is taken. The basis or amount contributed returns to the investors tax-free upon withdrawal. That is for a traditional IRA. All right. Roth IRAs. Roth IRAs are a newer retirement account created in the 1990s, named after Senator William Roth, who proposed these types of accounts. This type of IRA provides a reverse tax status when compared to typical retirement accounts, or retirement plans, I should say. All right. Contributions.
Contribution.
Yeah. Contributions are made after tax, which means they are not deductible. Roth IRA assets grow tax shelter and can be withdrawn in retirement tax free if meeting specific requirements. Although contributions are not deductible, there are contribution limits. The same traditional IRA contribution limit of $7,000 per year applies to Roth IRAs. Also, the contribution limit is for both IRA types combined. If an investor contributes $3,000 to their traditional IRA, they may only contribute $4,000 to their Roth IRA. If the account owner was age 50 or older, they could contribute an additional $1,000. Not all investors are eligible to contribute to Roth IRAs. In particular, investors with high incomes cannot contribute. You won't. We are clear on that. So if you make a certain amount of money, a lot of money, you can't contribute to a Roth IRA. So let's go through the
Oh
numbers.
wow.
So investors filing single can make a full Roth contribution if earning less than $146,000 annually. A phase out begins between $146,000 and $161,000, which means the investor may only make a partial contribution of the $7,000 limit or $8,000 at age 50 or above. Above 161,000, no Roth contributions may be made. Married married taxpayers filing jointly. Investors filing jointly can make a full Roth contribution if earning less than $230,000 annually. A phase out begins between $230,000 and $240,000, which means the investor may only make a partial contribution of the $7,000 limit or $8,000 if age 50 or above. Above $240,000, no Roth contributions may be made. All right. Okay. Distributions. Roth IRA owners take distributions must meet two requirements to avoid taxes. First, the account owner must be at least 59 and a half years old, which is a standard rule for retirement plans. Otherwise, a 10% early withdrawal penalty is assessed. Second, the account must be open for at least 5 years. An investor opening their first Roth IRA at age 60 must wait until age 65 to take tax-free withdrawals. The 5-year aging period for Roth IRA starts on the day of the first contribution. Investors taking distributions above age 59 and a half, but haven't reached the 5-year aging period are subject to ordinary income taxes on the gains above basis, but not the 10% penalty. For example, assume a 60-year-old opens their first Roth IRA and contributes $5,000. 2 years later, the account is worth $8,000 and the investor requests a full withdrawal. They will pay ordinary income taxes on the $3,000 of growth, but no additional 10% penalty.
So you don't pay taxes if you keep it in for 5 years.
Correct.
Mm. Gotcha.
Okay. All right. We learned in the previous chapter that most retirement plans have required Minimum distributions, RMDs, when the account owner turns 73. Roth IRAs are not subject to RMDs. Taxes are not assessed when distributions occur. Therefore, the IRS isn't concerned about forcing investors to take distributions. All right. Side note, Roth 401ks, similar to Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks offer many of the same tax benefits. Contributions are after tax, non deductible. The assets grow on a tax shelter basis. Distributions are tax free in retirement if meeting specific requirements, and RMDs are not required. The same rules apply for qualified withdrawals. The investor must be 59 and a half, and the account must pass the 5-year aging requirement. Unlike Roth IRAs, Roth 401ks are qualified workplace plans that are ERISA governed. All right. All right. Variable life insurance. One second.
Is that the same thing as? I got it.
All right. Variable life. Most insurance products are not considered securities, but these meet the legal definition. Variable life insurance, variable annuities, both involve investing in products tied to the securities markets, but each has its own unique purpose. Life insurance provides a payout upon the death of an insured person. Annuities typically offer income to a retiree until their death. Uh, in this chapter, we'll discover variable life insurance. All right, life insurance is a vital tool to ensure family members or beneficiaries are financially supported in the event of a person's death. This is especially important for families with one breadwinner, money earner. Variable life insurance offers coverage throughout the insured person's life, regardless of whether they're the policyholder or not. As long as required premiums are paid, a payment known as a death benefit is delivered to beneficiaries upon the insured person's death. Okay, an insured person, that is the person with their life insured, payout made upon their death. The policyholders, the person owning the life insurance, could be the insured person or a third party. Um, Premium, the cost of life insurance, typically takes the form of monthly payments to the insurance company. Death benefit is benefit money received by beneficiaries in the event the insured person's death. And a beneficiary is person or persons and or entities designated to receive the death benefit upon the passing of the insured person. All right. Variable life insurance maintains a fixed premium payment schedule. The amount of the premium payment is determined when the contract is initially agreed upon, and the policyholder is required to make these payments over time. The policy lapses if premiums go unpaid, and a payout of the cash value discussed below minus any applicable fees is returned to the policyholder. A minimum death benefit is guaranteed on variable life insurance. However, the death benefit and cash value may grow over time. Before we dive further in this topic, let's discuss cash value. Variable life insurance builds cash value over time. For example, let's assume a 30-year-old policyholder obtains $250,000 variable life insurance on themselves with a fixed $200 monthly premium. In their younger years, the cost of the death benefit or cost of insuring their life might be $50 per month. In this example, the extra $150 would be considered cash value. The older the investor get, the higher the death benefit costs and the lower the cash value contribution. At age 60, the death benefit could increase to $160 per month, allowing a reduced $40 monthly cash value contribution. A person buying life insurance on themselves would be considered both the insured person and the policyholder. The cost of insuring a person's life is arbitrary and determined by the insurance company. The younger a person is, the less likely they are to die unexpectedly. Therefore, the cost of the death benefit is lower for younger insured persons, but the cost will rise over time. Cash value can be used for several purposes. In most instances, the policyholder may only access the cash value during the insured person's lifetime. It can be withdrawn or borrowed after the policy has been in place for some time, usually 3 years, as long as the insured person is still alive. Any cash value withdrawn or borrowed and not repaid is usually subtracted from the death benefit. Additionally, ordinary income taxes are due on any distributed cash value above the investor's contribution or basis. For example, assume an investor contributes a total of $50,000 to their cash value, which grows to $75,000. If the investor distributes $60,000 of cash value, they will pay ordinary income taxes on $10,000 of growth, but not the $50,000 basis. Cash value is invested in the separate account, which is discussed below. If a policyholder wants to stop paying premiums, they are typically provided one of three potential options: keep death benefit for a shorter period, retain insurance with a lower death benefit, surrender and receive the cash value. Keep death benefit for a shorter period. The policyholder can essentially surrender the life insurance, then take their cash value and purchase the equivalent of term life insurance on the insured person. This option is typically only available to insured persons below the age of 80, as most insurance companies do not offer term life to elderly persons. Term life insurance is the most basic form of life insurance. The policyholder pays a fixed premium to maintain a death benefit over an insured person for a specified period term. For example, a person pays $50 monthly to insure their life over the next 10 years for $250,000. The policy expires if the person survives the term, 10 years in this example. Okay. Retain insurance with lower death benefit. The policyholder can stop paying premiums in exchange for a lower death benefit. Depending on the contract and agreement, the cash value may or may not be adjusted during this change. All right, to surrender and receive cash value. The policyholder can completely surrender their cash value, allowing them to keep the cash value minus any applicable surrender fees. These are fees paid to the insurance company upon cancellation of the policy. Many surrender fees are based on a sliding time scale, meaning the fees are higher if surrendered in the early years, but lower if surrendered in later years. Any gains above and beyond the basis amount contributed are taxable to the policyholder. Cash value is contributed to a separate account, similar to the structure of a variable annuity discussed in the next chapter. The policyholder owns the cash value and determines how it is invested. They are typically provided access to numerous portfolios of securities that are similar to mutual funds, giving them access to a variety of different asset classes like common stock, preferred stock, and bonds. The policyholder determines the amount of risk they're willing to take, and of course, the more risk taken, the greater the expectation for return over time. There are a few prominent consequences related to separate accounts. First, the policyholder accepts the risk related to investing, e.g., market risk, as opposed to the insurance company accepting this risk with other types of life insurance. Second, insurance products with variable features are considered securities. This makes the product subject to registration and securities regulations discussed in future chapters. To offer variable life insurance, A person must attain both securities and insurance licensing. This typically involves FINRA and NASA licensing, e.g., SIE plus Series 6, 7, 63, and or 66 plus a state insurance license. Other forms of life insurance exist than the ones discussed in this chapter, although not generally, blah, blah, blah. For example, whole life insurance is similar to variable life insurance, but the policyholder does not maintain control of investing. This is handled by the insurance company, which accepts the relevant risk, market risk. All right. The separate account provides for the growth of both the death benefit and the cash value over time. If the separate account performs well, both will grow. However, the death benefit and cash value may decline if the separate account declines. Variable life insurance contracts typically provide a minimum guaranteed death benefit, no matter how far the separate account declines, although there usually is no minimum guaranteed cash value. Let's summarize the main points related to variable life insurance. Coverage for the entire life of the policy, fixed premiums, guaranteed minimum death benefit, no minimum guaranteed cash value invested in a separate account. Cash value grows based on investment performance. Policyholder is subject to investment risk. Cash value may be withdrawn or borrowed, returned to the insurance company upon death, kept upon surrender of the policy, retained and potentially paid with a death benefit, and it is considered a security. All right. Variable annuities. All right. Variable annuities are a type of investment company product regulated by the Investment Company Act of 1940. Ready? It can provide lifetime income to a person in retirement. These investment vehicles allow unlimited contributions and make fluctuating payments until death. An annuity can be a self-made pension. The investor puts money into the account and may opt later to receive payments for life. Contributions, sometimes called premium payments, to variable annuities are made through periodic or lump sum payments. Variable annuities are considered non-qualified retirement plans, resulting in contributions being non-tax deductible, no tax benefits simply for contributing. Let's discuss the two general types of annuities, immediate and deferred. The difference relates to the time needed to contribute to the annuity during the accumulation phase. You should assume variable annuities are generally non-qualified, where rolling over qualified funds into an annuity is possible. In turn, this creates a qualified annuity. We'll learn more about this below. Immediate annuity. When a person has access to a large sum of money in retirement, they can immediately obtain annuity payments for life without a lengthy accumulation phase. Known as an immediate annuity, this plan provides retirement income soon after the insurance company accepts the lump sum. If the lump sum is made in one big payment, it may be called a single premium immediate annuity. For example, an investor deposits $1 million into their immediate variable annuity and begins receiving monthly payments starting at $2,500, which fluctuate depending on the investment performance of the separate account just below. As with anything else in finance, there are pros and cons to choosing this type of annuity. In particular, immediate annuity benefits receive retirement income immediately, provides income for life, no need for a lengthy accumulation phase. buildup. Immediate annuity risk typically requires a large lump sum to qualify. The lump sum is generally inaccessible without significant fees once deposited. Low or negative return if death occurs earlier than expected, likely subject to a substantial amount of upfront fees and/or sales charges. The inaccessibility of the lump sum only becomes a problem if the investor needs more money than they receive in their
Low or negative.
What the hell was that?
Keep going.
Uh, an annuity typically stops making payments once the account owner dies. For example, assume an investor deposits $1 million into an immediate annuity in return for average monthly payments starting at $2,500. If they were to pass away after 1 year, the investor would have only received roughly $30,000 in total payments, 2,500 times 12 months. Exchanging $1 million for $30,000 of payment represents an extraordinary $970,000 loss. This is one of the primary risks investors face with annuities. Deferred annuities. Deferred annuities require time to grow the investor's assets. For example, let's assume an investor signs up to contribute $2,000 a month to their deferred variable annuity starting at age 40. When they reach age 60, they would have contributed $480,000. It's $2,000 times 12 months times 20 years. Contributions are invested, so the $480,000 will likely grow to a higher amount. Let's say it grew to $1 million. Once in retirement, the investor may annuitize their account, which essentially relinquishes control of the $1 million to the insurance company in return for monthly payments for life. All right. Deferred annuity benefits, longer accumulation periods. Longer accumulation period allows for higher growth potential of contributions, provides income for life if annuitized, no need for a significant lump sum to qualify. Deferred annuity risk, assets may not grow as much or lose value if investments perform poorly. Income is typically not received for years or decades. Low or negative return if death occurs earlier than expected once annuitized, likely subject to a substantial amount of upfront fees and/or sales charges. Deferred annuities are not required to be annuitized. We'll learn more about this below. Accumulation phase, regardless of annuity type, there are two general phases: accumulation phase and distribution phase. The accumulation phase is the period when money is contributed to the account as the investor builds the annuity's assets. This phase could last a day, immediate annuity, or several decades, deferred annuity. Money received during the accumulation phase is placed into a separate account. The name refers to the account being separated from the insurance company's assets and capital. When a contribution is placed into the separate account, the investor purchases accumulation units. Similar to buying shares of stock, accumulation units provide a measurement of the investor's basis or amount invested. More accumulation units are purchased when additional funds are contributed to the separate account. The more accumulation units an investor owns, the more valuable their investment is. The investor controls the separate account and dictates where their money is invested. They are allowed to invest in several diversified portfolios of stocks, bonds, and other products, which are very similar to mutual funds. The investor chooses their risk exposure, which impacts their return potential. The assets in a separate account grow tax deferred, similar to other retirement accounts or other retirement plans. Investors generally do not pay taxes on dividends or when capital gains are realized. Taxation only applies when a distribution or withdrawal is taken, usually in retirement. When a separate account grows, the investor must reinvest all investment income received. Variable annuities are also subject To the same rules as other retirement plans, investors must wait until age 59 and a half to take funds out and are subject to a 10% penalty if taken early. Variable annuities. Oh, shit. Hold on. Okay. Variable Variable annuities typically provide a death benefit that applies only in the accumulation phase. This benefit kicks in if the account owner dies before annuitizing the contract, electing for lifetime payments. For example, let's assume a 30-year-old begins contributing $500 monthly and plans to continue these contributions until age 60. They pass away unexpectedly at age 50 after contributing $120,000 over 20 years. That's $500 a month per month times 12 months times 20 years. The death benefit guarantees payment to the account owner's listed beneficiary. In particular, the beneficiary will receive the greater of the account owner's basis or the current account value. Continuing our example above, let's assume the investor's separate account investments perform poorly, resulting in a balance of $100,000 at the time of death. In this scenario, the investor's beneficiary, declared when the account is open, will receive $120,000, the basis. The death benefit ensures that no matter how the separate accounts investments perform, at least the original amount contributed will be returned if the account owner dies before taking distributions. The beneficiary will receive the current account value upon death if the investments perform well. Resetting with our same $120,000 basis example, let's assume this time the account grew to $200,000. Upon the account owner's death, the beneficiary will receive $200,000. All right, side note, M&E charge. In the first example above, the investor's account value at death was $100,000, while their basis was $120,000. At death, the insurance company was on the hook for paying the $20,000 difference to the beneficiary. This added cost is known as mortality risk, which occurs when the account owner dies earlier than expected. Another risk the insurance company faces is rising expenses. Running an insurance company can be costly, especially due to unexpected claims, higher regulatory costs, and increasing general business expenses. For example, what if an insurance company's costs exceed the premiums received for its products? Facing these added complexities is known as expense risk. To compensate for these risks, insurance companies typically assess M&E or mortality and expense charges. This charge typically averages around 1.25% annually. All right. All right. Distribution phase. When an investor is ready to take payments from a variable annuity, they have a few choices. At this point, the investor enters into the distribution phase and can withdraw the entire value of the separate account out as a lump sum payment. Alternatively, they could take random or systematic withdrawals. For example, an investor could request $2,000 a month to be sent to them until the account is exhausted. When distributions are taken, only the growth is taxable. If you recall, contributions or basis are made after tax and are not taxed again. If an investor made $50,000 of contributions and the account grew to $75,000, they will only owe ordinary income taxes on $25,000 of growth. If a lump sum or periodic withdrawal is taken from a deferred annuity, the investor is not guaranteed income for life. Eventually, the separate account will be empty if enough money is taken. Investors concerned about running out of funds should avoid these payout options. We are not discussing this option with an immediate annuity because they are almost always annuitized or payments for life. Otherwise, an investor with a large lump sum will be better off placing those funds in a brokerage account, investing what they did need, and taking distributions as needed. If an investor seeks guaranteed income for life, they annuitize their contract. Annuitization involves giving ownership of the separate account in return for payments for life. When an investor annuitizes, their accumulation units convert into a fixed amount of annuity units. The performance of the separate account determines their value, which directly influences future payouts. All right, side note, taxes at distribution. We've learned the following about non-qualified variable annuities. Growth is taxable as ordinary income when withdrawn. Two primary methods of withdrawal: not annuitizing and withdrawing funds when needed, annuitizing and receiving periodic payments until death. Let's dive a bit further into these points to understand the tax consequences investors face when they request distributions. If the account is not annuitized, the IRS rules require the growth to be distributed first, known simply as LIFO, last in, first out. The after-tax contributions are taken out after all growth is distributed. For example, let's assume an investor contributes $50,000, which grows to $70,000 when the first withdrawal occurs. A distribution of $25,000 is requested. How much is taxable? In this example, the investor has $20,000 of taxable growth in their account. When they request the $25,000 withdrawal, the $20,000 of taxable growth comes out first, alongside $5,000 of basis. Therefore, $20,000 will be taxable as ordinary income, while the remaining $5,000 will represent a tax-free return of principal or basis. If the account is annuitized, IRS rules require a different type of taxation. Payments received are taxed on a pro rata basis, meaning each contains part tax-free basis and part taxable growth. This is sometimes referred to as being taxed on an exclusion ratio basis. For example, assume an investor receives $1,000 in their first variable annuity payout. $300 of the payment may be taxable growth, while the remaining $700 is a tax-free return of capital. All right. So, annuity payments are typically made every month. The first payout to the investor is predetermined based on the structure of the annuitization, discussed later in this section. After the first payout, future payments depend on the performance of the separate account. When an investor annuitizes, they are provided with an assumed interest rate, typically the AIR or the AIR. The AIR is a conservative estimate of the projected growth of the separate account. The performance of the separate account is continually compared to the AIR. Assume the assigned AIR is 3% annualized. The investor's monthly payout increases if the separate account performs better than 3%. However, the investor's payout decreases if the separate account performs worse than 3%. This structure is why these annuities are considered variable. There are 4 specific annuitization structures to be aware of. First, the investor can choose a straight life annuitization, which pays them for life. After the investor dies, the payments stop, and the insurance company keeps the assets in the separate account. Depending on how long the investor lives, they may or may not receive a desirable return. Assume an investor chooses a straight life annuity when their separate account is worth $200,000. If they were to pass away 1 month after receiving one payment of $1,000, the insurance company will profit $199,000. In this situation, the insurance company wins. It could go the other way, though. The investor could live much longer than expected and receive payments equaling $450,000 until they die, profiting $250,000. In this case, the investor wins. As you can see, variable annuities are a game of life and death. to estimate how long an investor will live. Insurance companies often require full disclosure of medical history or a checkup by a doctor of their choosing or both. The medical data is then given to an actuary who analyzes risk and
It sure
estimates.
took me a
Huh?
whole year. It took me a whole year, even after the medical exam.
Wow.
Yes, it
Wow.
drove me crazy.
Damn. That's a
Yeah.
long
Remember
ass
we had
time.
remember we had Ujo's sister on? I had brought it from her.
Oh, yeah.
And my payments was expensive as hell.
You said they
Yeah.
were expensive?
It took heck
Yeah.
yeah. That annuity,
Mm-hmm.
the UIL, it was three. I had gotten it. Well, I had wanted a $500,000 policy, but it was gonna be like 321. So I dropped it to like 300,000, and my payments were gonna be 121. I think I wanted that policy bad too.
Wow.
It took
Wow.
forever. It took so long. I had forgot about it.
Dang.
I mean,
That's crazy.
she would check up on me. She would check up on me like once a month.
Yeah.
Um, but they did. I had put in for it, and they came out. The medical examiner came to my house.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I think they drew blood, and she just kind of observed me. And well, first I had got the policy; it was no problem. But when it got to, I guess whatever the second phase was, and
Yeah.
they were like, they wanted to charge me more money. She had quoted me a rate, and they wanted to charge me more money after that. And I was like, no, that's not what I had planned for. So I wanted that. I really wanted $1 million policy, but I was with the
Right.
500 because I think Sean had got the $500 policy, Sean P. And
Mm-hmm.
so I wanted the same one, and then I
Right.
had to get it to 300,000. So after the examiner came out, they took so long, and then after that, I think another 6 months, she was like, well, Monica, they wanted, I didn't, the rate that we had agreed to, she wants to change the rate, and I know we didn't agree to that, so I wanted to redo your policy. Man, it took like another 6 months. I was like, you know what, just forget it, I can't do it.
That's
I
crazy.
had the money. I really wanted the policy. So what happened was the VA came out with another $40,000 policy that I
Mm-hmm.
could get cheaper. So I just ended up with not what I wanted. I wanted that 500,000 like I had in the military. I didn't roll it over because it was a lack of knowledge, and I asked the question, but I didn't get it rolled over. So I
Yeah.
was trying to get back up to that same dollar amount. But
Mm-hmm.
but that was a lesson learned on my part. So if I ever had kids or whatever, I would definitely do big policies. As a matter of fact, while I was home for Keon's event, we were talking about policies, and it was saying um, how this one girl was saying how I guess this people of the other tracks had lost someone, and the kid, they had adopted a kid, and it was like, yeah, the parents had put big policy on them, and they were saying how those folks, how they put big policies out on the kids, especially when they like strung out on drugs and things of that nature. And then we were worried about them because that's how they come up with those insurance policies. And I was explaining to my mom, because she was like, "Why are you getting so much insurance? You don't need." Da, da, da. And I was like, "Well, for one, my policies either help out with medical if something was to happen to me. It helps out with medical, or help pay someone to take care of me, or
Mm-hmm.
I had one that I wanted to use specifically, like if I wanted to pull some money from it for business.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had another one that would cover any leftover expenses that I would have. So my life insurance policies have purpose to
Right.
them. Yeah.
Good.
So yeah, I wanted to throw that in when you said when you threw in the medical piece.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So that is true. If you want those big policies, they will come out and check it.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep. Okay. All
What's
right,
up,
sis.
Brandon?
What up, Brandon?
Peace, everybody. What's happening?
Chilling, man.
Chris been going for 2 hours.
What? Okay. We about to be done with the boring stuff, so.
I gotta go to the restroom.
All right, I'm gonna keep reading while you do that.
All right.
All right. It says the medical data is then given to an actuary who analyzes risk and estimates how long they expect their customer to live. From there, the insurance company makes payouts representing their estimate of the investor's life expectancy. The actuary and insurance company are not always right. If an investor's health is misjudged and they live longer than expected, payouts still must be made until they pass away. This is known as longevity risk, a detriment to the insurance company, but a beneficial guarantee to the investor. Pensions face this same risk regularly. Investors concerned about the risk associated with the life annuity can choose a life with period certain annuitization. Assume an investor chooses a life with a 10-year period certain. They are guaranteed payments for life, regardless of how long they live. However, if they were to die within 10 years, payments would continue to their listed beneficiary. For example, if they died after 8 years of payments, 2 years of payments continue to their beneficiary. With a period certain setup, the investor knows payments are guaranteed for a specific amount of time. Because there is less risk for the investor, life with period certain annuities results in lower payouts than life annuities. Primarily utilized by married couples, there is also a joint with last survivor annuitization. This type of payout structure pays two account owners until both pass away. After one of the annuitants dies, the payments are typically reduced by some amount. The definition of annuitant, a person who receives annuity payments, typically the original account owner. Investors may also choose a unit refund annuitization. This type of annuity makes payments for life, but refunds the account owner's beneficiary if they pass away before receiving their basis. For example, assume an investor contributes $100,000 to their refund annuity, annuitizes the contract, and then passes away after receiving $70,000 in payments. $30,000 will be paid to the annuitant's beneficiary in a lump sum or on a payment schedule, depending on how the annuity is structured. Side note, qualified annuities. Um, let's see. This type of retirement plan allows for unlimited non-deductible after-tax contributions and tax-deferred growth. At distribution, only the growth is taxable as ordinary income. In some circumstances, these are annuities that have been funded with pre-tax money from another source. For example, an investor contributes $100,000 to their 403b plan at the charity they work at. At retirement, the account has grown to $150,000 and they roll it over into a variable annuity. In this example, all future withdrawals will be taxable as ordinary income, while a non qualified variable annuity is only subject to taxation on the growth. The entire amount withdrawn from a qualified annuity is taxable. Let's assume the investor requests a lump sum distribution of their $150,000 qualified annuity. They will be subject to ordinary income taxes on the entire amount, the $100,000 basis, and the $50,000 growth. Like all other qualified plans, qualified annuities are subject to required minimum distributions, aka RMDs, starting at age 73. Non qualified annuities are not subject to RMDs. All right, fixed annuities. Now that you understand a variable annuity, we'll briefly cover fixed annuity. You sh- let's see. It is not considered a security because the investor does not face investment related risk, aka market risk. Instead of the investor's assets being placed in their control within the separate account, a fixed annuity places contributions into the insurance company's general account. The insurance company invests the funds on behalf of the account owner and guarantees a typically low rate of return, something like 3%. As compared to a variable annuity, there are pros and cons. The pros, money grows at a guaranteed return rate of return, and the investor does not need to concern themselves with investment related risk like market risk or interest rate risk. This may seem like a suitable retirement option for conservative and risk averse investors. The cons, variable annuities may grow more over time, more risk and return potential, and the fixed rate of return is especially subject to inflation or purchasing power risk. Remember, any investment with a fixed rate of return is subject to this risk. If prices of goods and services rise more on a percentage basis than the guaranteed rate of return, the investor is technically losing money to inflation. All right. Okay. Let's cover this portion and we can move on to options after that. Okay, so this is education and other plans. Outside of retirement plans, there are other tax beneficial plans eligible to those saving for education or persons considered disabled. We'll discuss the following accounts in this chapter: Coverdell ESAs, 529 plans, and ABLE accounts. All right, Coverdell ESAs. Coverdell Education Savings Accounts provide a tax-friendly way to save for a child's education. ESA funds can be used to pay for costs related to virtually any type of education, including grade school, middle school, high school, vocational school, and college. An annual non-deductible contribution limit of $2,000 per child per year may be made into a Coverdell. Similar to Roth IRAs, contributions are non-deductible and high-income earners are prohibited from contributing. Contributions can be made until the child reaches age 18. From there, the assets are invested and grow tax sheltered. Funds are available to be used for education-related costs when they arise. Coverdell distributions used to pay for educational expenses, known as qualified expenses, are not subject to taxation. This is the big benefit these accounts provide. Investment gains are typically taxable, but not with Coverdell ESAs, assuming the distributions pay for qualified expenses. However, a 10% penalty and ordinary income taxes apply if a withdrawal is not linked to qualified education expenses. All assets in a Coverdell ESA must be distributed by the time the account beneficiary reaches age 30. If educational expenses don't exist, assets can be rolled over to another family member's Coverdell ESA as long as they are under age 30. All right. 529 plans. 529 plans, also known as qualified tuition programs, are very similar to Coverdell ESAs, but are mainly utilized for college expenses. Each U.S. state has its own unique 529 plan that it sponsors. All right. Types of 529 plans. Two general 529 plan types exist: prepaid tuition and college saving plans. Prepaid tuition plans are exactly what they sound like. Investors contribute money for a future college student, and prepay tuition at today's rates instead of being assessed in college when tuition rates will be higher. These plans mitigate the risk of rising college costs, which have risen much faster than inflation in recent years. College saving plans involve investing in state-approved funds similar to mutual funds. Investors typically have plenty of choices, which include everything from money market funds to aggressive growth funds. Also, many plans provide target date funds that are structured around the year the funds are needed, e.g., a 2040 fund for a student projected to attend college in the year 2040. Initially, target date funds are more aggressive, but become more conservative or safer over time. Many of these funds evolve into money market funds when the target date is reached. Investing for future college expenses is often a long term objective, especially when saving for a young child. Frequent changes to 529 plans investments are not allowed to encourage a long term mindset. The plan participant, the person managing the plan discussed below, may only make 2 changes to their 529 investment allocation per calendar year. The plan participant can also move from one state's 529 plan to another state's 529 plan once per calendar year. All right, 529 plan parties. There are 2 parties in each 529 plan: the plan participant and the beneficiary. The plan participant plays a similar role as a custodian in a custodial account. These are often parents or other family members managing assets for a child. Their role includes investing 529 assets into suitable portfolios and distributing funds when educational expenses occur. The beneficiary is the person who the 529 assets are meant to support, and often is the child or close family member of the plan participant. One unique aspect of 529 plans is the amount of control the plan participant maintains. Assets placed into the plan are the property of the plan participant, no matter how old the beneficiary is. Unlike UGMA and UTMA accounts, there is no requirement to turn the assets over to the beneficiary once they reach adulthood. In fact, the plan participant is under no obligation to do anything with the 529 funds. If the child doesn't go to college, there's no requirement to give them the money. 529 plans have no age requirement. Any adult can open a 529 account for a beneficiary at any age. Uh, the plan participant also controls who the beneficiary is. Beneficiary changes can be made without tax consequences. If the new beneficiary is a family member, the IRS considers the following as eligible family members for non-taxable beneficiary changes: natural or legally adopted children, parents, step parents or grandparents, siblings or step siblings, nieces or nephews, aunts or uncles, spouse of any of the above, spouse of the beneficiary, first cousins. 529 plan contributions. Contributions to 529 plans are made with after tax money at the federal level, meaning contributions to these plans do not offset federal income tax liabilities. However, some states provide a state tax deduction for contributions. The key word is some. Several states do not offer a state tax deduction, especially those without an income tax. Although contribution limits are not a concern, gift taxes may apply. A person gifting more than $18,000 to someone other than their spouse may be subject to federal gift taxes. If a grandmother contributes more than $18,000 to her grandchild's 529 plan, she may owe taxes. There is a way to avoid gift taxes even if the amount contributed is more than $18,000. The IRS allows a one time contribution of up to 5 times the $18,000 annual limit. For example, a grandmother could contribute up to $90,000, $18,000 times 5, to her grandchild's 529 plan and avoid gift taxes. If she were to contribute anything more in the next 5 years, she will be subject to taxes. Once funds are contributed and invested, the assets grow tax deferred over time. The IRS cannot tax any capital gains or dividends received as long as the assets are parked in the account 529 plans generally require automatic reinvestment of capital gains and dividends. 529 plans have contribution limits, but they vary state by state, and you won't. Okay. Also, contribution limits are substantially high. For example, California's cumulative contribution limit per person is $529,000. As you're probably aware, college is expensive. Also, 529 plans do not have phase out rules, so even high income earners can contribute. 529 plan distributions. Distributions or withdrawals are not taxable as long as the funds are used for qualified educational expenses. The definition of a qualified 529 expense is a bit narrower than it is with Coverdell ESAs, where virtually all education related expenses are qualified. These typically include tuition, textbooks, computer equipment, room and board if the student is enrolled at least half time, apprenticeship programs, costs related to special needs students, payment of student loans up to $10,000. 529 plans are primarily used for college expenses. However, up to $10,000 per year can be used for private, public, or religious schools below the college level. If college saving plans funds are not used for education, the account owner is subject to ordinary income taxes and a 10% penalty only on the gains. The basis is always tax free. However, if the beneficiary receives a scholarship and no longer needs the 529 plan, assets may be distributed without the 10% penalty. Ordinary income taxes will still apply to gains. Generally, distributions must be taken in the same calendar year a as college expense is assessed. When paying for educational expenses below the college level, K through 12, only tuition costs count as a qualified expense. All other expenses are non-qualified, subjecting withdrawals to taxes plus penalties. All right, able accounts. The Achieving a Better Life Experience ABLE Act of 2014 created what we know today as ABLE accounts. Significant expenses Significant expenses can exist for people with a disability, and ABLE accounts were created to help pay for those expenses. Additionally, ABLE accounts provide an efficient way to save money while not risking the loss of other forms of aid. Oftentimes, one must be considerably poor to qualify for government benefits. If a disabled person owned a reasonable amount of assets in a typical brokerage account, they might be ineligible for certain benefits like Medicaid. The ABLE Act was signed into law to allow people with disabilities to gain access to tax beneficial accounts without jeopardizing their access to other government benefits. Most of the time, assets held in ABLE accounts are not factored into eligibility requirements for benefits like Medicaid. Contributions to ABLE accounts are made with after-tax dollars that are not non-deductible, but some states allow a state tax deduction. Assets are invested in growth on a tax benefit.
Hello?
Oh, my bad. Um, wait. Where was that?
Tax benefit.
Let me just read this over.
Man.
Contribution accounts are made with after-tax dollars that are non-deductible, but some states allow state tax deductions. Assets are invested and grow on a tax shelter basis. Similar to Coverdell ESAs and 529 plans, distributions are tax-free if spent on qualified expenses. For ABLE accounts, these include medical expenses, housing, job training, and educational expenses. To be eligible to open an ABLE account, the investor must be considered disabled by age 26. However, the account does not need to be opened by that age. For example, a 40-year-old individual who became disabled at age 24 would be eligible to open an ABLE account. All right. That's it for retirement.
I didn't know that. Able account.
You didn't know that?
Never heard of it.
Wow.
So this is for individuals 24 and under, though, right?
Yeah, but what we just read.
I know, but it said if the person became disabled at age 24, they can still do it. So it
Yeah.
didn't say. I mean, when you read it, it doesn't say the age on the IRS website. It just says these accounts help disabled people pay qualified disability related expenses without affecting their eligibility for government assistance programs.
Or you have to be considered disabled by age 26.
Right. That's what I said. Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, that's you have to be 26. Yeah, 26 or under. So this is for people who are, like, for instance, my little cousin, his intellectual disability, he's 25. So if
Mm-hmm.
they wanted to get this account right now, he could because he's 25.
Yeah.
So he
Right.
can put up to 15,000, huh?
Yeah, I mean, he can be any age as long as he was actually disabled.
Oh, I got it. I'm sorry. I misread
Yeah.
it. You had to have been disabled prior to the age of 26. So at any age, you could actually start this account.
Yeah.
And he could save up to 15,000 with no penalty of his benefits.
Right.
Okay. So they can save money. They just have to know what account it needs to go in.
Yeah.
Got it.
Mm-hmm.
I learned something new.
That will be $150,000, please.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Good job.
Yes. I don't know if we had nobody watching or not,
Yeah, we had a few.
but knowing retirements and what's the offer, what's out there, that you can take a part of is good.